What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to Misplayed Magic, the only Magic the Gathering YouTube channel doing giveaways based on how I draft. If I do horribly in this draft, if I get 0 wins, I'm giving away a collector booster pack to one of you. All the way down to 7 wins, I'll be giving away a draft. We gave one away in our last video, so this could be you. All you have to do is like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment down below on how you think I did. Now, for the first time in this set, I'm going to pause the challenge wheel and just try as hard as I possibly can to win one of you a draft. Let's go ahead and jump into it. Alright, so I'm going to be trying as hard as I possibly can, offering little bits of advice everywhere I see it, so hopefully this is helpful for you to watch. Starting off in this first pack, we do have a Sefer Al-Masi, which I actually like quite a bit. I actually love this in like a red-green stompy deck. If you have a huge creature with trample, giving it double strike is really quite strong. So I think we're probably going to go that route. We could also take the Zanarkand Ancient Metropolis, where you can kind of create a vanilla creature stapled to a land. So definitely like a strong thing you can do. I think that we are not super interested in it in terms of a first pick. And then other considerations, I do think that Golbez Clad in Darkness is good. Whenever a creature dies or a creature is put into a graveyard from anywhere other than the battlefield, or a creature card leaves your graveyard, it does 1 damage to each opponent. So that also can be really strong, but I think I'm going to go with the Sefer Al-Masi, although I will say Golbez is quite strong. Moving on into our second selection here. So if we do end up going in a red-green deck, I do think the Chocobo Racetrack is pretty fun in terms of just spitting out a ton of birds. So that is kind of a fun consideration for us. Other cards in the pack that are just good. Sandworm, I think, is solid. It allows you to either destroy an opponent's land if they're like banking on having a specific dual land or a town. But also, it can help you hit landfall triggers. So I think that's also really good. And then I think Dragoon's Lance is a really solid 2-drop. I always think land fixing is solid as well. So lots of good things in this pack. I know I said I was going to try as hard as I possibly could. I'm going to take the Chocobo Racetrack. I think it looks really fun. I really want to try it out. Moving on into this next pack. All right, it does look like red-green is getting somewhat cut off from us. We could take a Nature's Claim, which is just destroying a target artifact or enchantment, and its controller gains for life. I don't think we necessarily want that here. Other considerations in this pack. So I do think the Sefer is pretty strong. I think we want to somehow try and stick to that. So just thinking of a deck that can make that work. The other one that's coming to mind is kind of going in a white-red equipment aggro type deck. And so for me, I'm looking at the 2 red-white equipments, but then also something like a Magitech Infantry. I really like this card. I think it's really good. I think more often than not, it's just a 1-mana 2/1 that can go tutor another one. So I think we're going to take one of those here as a potential good kind of beatdown card over something like a Magitech Armory, which I know is good. I know is statted well, but we're going to try that here. All right, moving on into this next pack. So it does look like Boros might be the way to go here. We might have wasted a pick on the Chocobo Racetrack, but hey, it was a fun one and one that, you know, maybe not, might not have been our best decision ever. So there is a Chocobo kick, so like maybe there's a world where we do want to make that work, but I think there's better value in some red and white cards here. So Barrett Wallace, I think, is fine. I think having equipped creatures can be tricky because a lot of times like blue effects are going to be bouncing off creatures. I really want to try the Zidane out. I think this is a really strong top-end Boros card. It gets you a treasure, and then it also just does a good job of beating down your opponent. So I think that's what we're going to go with here. I also love the Rescue Mission. I've been really pleased with how that card has felt. Slashlight's good. And look, Zach Fair is great too. So a lot of good considerations, but we can't take all the cards out of the pack. We can just take the one. Moving on into our 5th selection here. So if we want to go with an equipment beatdown deck, I do think having Oron's Inspiration could be really strong. Just buffing our entire board, making it so that the attacks are stronger, and just going really aggressively. I think this is a card that can really help us do that. White Mage's Staff is a great 2-drop. It is an equipped creature, so it does go along with a lot of the synergies. And then Lionheart, I think, also can be strong, but I think it's a little bit expensive for what we are trying to do. And just getting 2/1 is not great. I'm going to try the Oron's Inspiration here. I can see that card doing work if we get a really aggressively slanted deck here. Moving on into our 6th selection. So I do love the Aerith Rescue Mission. I will note our curve is a little bit high, but I think that's probably just our pick here. Titus Blitzball Star can be really strong, especially if we have like a bunch of Magitech infantries, just kind of creating that into a bigger threat. But I think the C for Omasi is a little bit stronger, and I don't know that we want to go be playing hard 3 colors here. So I think we're going to go with the Rescue Mission over something like a Monk's Fist or a Warrior Sword, although I can see those two being a decent consideration as well. To catch a fish is just too slow for us, and the Moogle is fine. So we're going to go with the Rescue Mission, making a ton of tokens and hopefully going wide here. All right, moving on into our 7th pick. So we've got a couple 4-drops and a 5-drop. So our curve is high. That being said, I do think the removal and the Fate of the Suncrist is just strong enough to warrant us taking it here. I don't think we really want to Haste Magic or a Lunatic Pandora. Call Mountain Chocobo is great. It's really good, but we have 2 4-drops already. Do we really want a 3rd one? I don't know. I know this removal spell is going to be good. I know we're playing white, so I'm going to take the Fate of the Suncrist here. Moving on into this next pack. Love to see a Dwarven Castle Guard here. I like it a little bit better than the Blazing Bomb, just because it's a body that replaces itself, and we really need to have strong 2-drops if we're going to be making an aggressively slanted deck. So very excited to pick that up here. Other considerations, I guess we could take a Monk's Fist. I don't think this pack is really saying that anything is crazy open. There's a lot of different cards here, different color cards here. So we're going to take the Dwarven Castle Guard and moving into this next selection. So Self-Destruct can be good. Can be good, but I think it's more so if you have a really giant stompy creature. That's kind of how you do, lethal damage to them. I don't know that we have anything that we really want to be self-destructing, but that being said, do we really want like an Iron Giant or something else? Probably not. So we'll take the self-destruct here. If we end up finding a target for that we really want, I could see us maybe playing it. Moving on into our 10th selection, I do like the White Mage's Staff quite a bit. It's just a good common. So you're getting to equip something for 3 that gives it 1/1 and a life. It's a cleric, it's a 2-drop, it's kind of everything we want. It's an equipped creature, so we're going to try that out here. Hopping into our 11th selection, I do think now we'll take a Warrior Sword. I don't know how much I love this card, but I don't think that these other cards are really worth the time of day. So we're going to take the Warrior Sword here. Moving on into our 12th pick, we could take a Barret Wallace, or we could take an Aerith Rescue Mission. I think I'm going to take another Rescue Mission. I found that going wide is a serious win condition in this set, and that plus the Oron's Inspiration can be good. Titus Blitzball Star comes all the way back to us. So maybe there's a world where we want to end up playing that. So here we could take another Oron's Inspiration, which would be interesting. I don't know that having 2 of those is particularly strong or game-breaking. I'm looking more at, I think Thunder Magic is really good. I think the White Auracite is really good removal and kind of some ramp. So I'm kind of looking at those 2. Although a second Oron's Inspiration would be interesting. It would just mean our deck would be really aggressive. We'd have to really prioritize 1 and 2 drops after this. I think Thunder Magic is just a little bit stronger as a removal spell. So I'm going to go with the Thunder Magic here. That's not that fun, though. I lied. I'm taking the Inspiration. I really think it could be fun for us to go super wide and then buff our entire board, and we get past a Lightning Army of 1. First strike, trample, lifelink. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player until their next turn, if a sorcerer deals damage to that player or a permanent that player controls, it does double damage. This card is great. We are very excited to be picking it up here. Very, very excited. Great Boros card. I think we're in the right lane. At least the person passing to us doesn't care for it. I also think that this land is decent. It allows you to just kind of make a 0/1 and then put a land into play. But I'm really, really excited to pick up the Lightning here, and this deck is looking fun so far. All right, moving on into our 3rd pick here. We could take a Dragoon's Lance, which is probably the pick of just like a good 2/1 with flying on our turn. I do think Samurai's Katana also, though, is super strong. Making a 3/3 with Trample and Haste is really good, and then it is an equipped creature as well if that ever comes into play. And then, look, like, at the end of the game, putting 2/2 and Trample on something for 5 mana isn't the worst thing in the world, so really like that as well. Traveling Chocobo, I won't just name, is cool. It's really cool. I don't think we're going to be messing with it in this draft, but definitely a strong card. I'm going to go with the Dragoon's Lance here. I really want to make sure that our 2-drop slot is jam-packed full of creatures that we are excited to play. Hopping into our 4th pick, I think we want to continue with this Boros start. As much as I want to take a 4th Aerith Rescue Mission, I do like this card. We're going to take a Suplex as a really, really premium removal spell. Can either take out a creature and exile it, which matters a lot, or it can exile a target artifact. So we're going to pick that up here. I don't think we want an unexpected request. We've already kind of got that effect with the Zidane. So I'm going to take the Suplex here, and hopefully that's the right call. All right, moving on into our 5th selection. There's a couple of great cards for us. So it's between either a Samurai's Katana, a White Auracite, or a White Mage's Staff. Just looking at our curve really quickly, we've got a couple of 2-drop equipments, but they're creatures. So I'm thinking, do I really want to prioritize another 2-drop here, or should we take something a little bit more powerful like the Samurai's Katana? And I think I'm already talking myself into it. I think that card is really nice. Now moving on into our 6th pack, we could take a Summon Esperama. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but it's good. I think it's really good if we have a bunch of spells. I don't think we're really like spell slinging in this deck particularly. We could take another rescue mission, although I think 3 is the upper limit of how many we want to have. I think here I'm going to actually take a Laughing Mad as a way for us to kind of filter our draws and draw some cards over something like a Crossroads Village or either of the black cards here. Hopping on into our 7th selection in this pack. That's a pretty late Grahatia. I will say I do like this card a lot because if it dies on our turn, we draw a card, and then if we chump block something on our opponent's turn, we draw another card. So I do like this card quite a bit. We're probably picking it here. I don't love the item shop keep. I think we'll find other 2-drops that we like better in this last pack. I don't really want another Laughing Mad, so we're going to go with the Grahatia here. I think it's pretty good, and we do need stuff to do at the top of our curve here. All right, continuing on into this 8th pick. I think Side Quest to Catch a Fish is just a little bit too slow for us. I don't want any of these blue or black cards. I will take a Light of Judgment. It's expensive, but it is a good removal spell, and we are going to want removal if we are trying to beat down our opponents here. All right, hopping on into this next pack. To me, it's between either a Barret Wallace or a Monk's Fist. We have a ton of things to do on 4. We have a lot. I think if we have the Rescue Missions, Seifer's Almasi, and the Warrior Sword, we maybe would cut the Warrior Sword and add in a Barret Wallace. I like it a little bit more than Monk's Fist. I just think the way that the packs have gone, we're going to get better 2-drops than that. Here we'll take our first item shop keep. Can be really good at creating some early attackers on the board. So we'll take that here. I think this means we're probably cutting the Warrior Sword. Now moving on into our 11th selection. So we've got a couple 3-drop creatures we like. I don't love the Paladin's Arms. I'm actually going to take a Haste Magic here as a decent combat trick and then a potential way to win games. Moving on to our 12th selection, we'll take another rescue mission, although that is too many things being rescued. So I don't think we're going to play that here. That's a late Realm Sketching. I really like this card. I think it is super, super fun, but we are not going to be picking it here. Here we'll take a Capital City, but I think that's just going to slow down kind of the flow of our game, so probably not going to end up putting that into our final deck. Hopping into this last pick, we've got a Van Street Thief. Whenever one or more scouts, pirates, or rogues deal combat damage to a player, exile the top card of that player's library. We may cast it. If we don't, we create a treasure token. So it doesn't say any mana can be used to cast that, so that's a little bit tricky. But we can create treasure tokens if we don't cast it. I don't know how many of those creatures we have. We really don't have many, so I don't think we want that here. Maybe we will take it and just have like an eye out for those, just because I don't think we're passing anything else that good. Red Mage's Rapier is bad. We don't want another 4-drop. Coral is not good. Lunatic Pandora is fine. So we'll take the Street Thief here. It is a rare. Maybe it's a decent. And we'll move on to the next pack. All right, so here we've got a tough choice. I think Freya Crescent has got to be our pick, just because it's going to help us ramp into some of our equipment spells we want to cast. So I think we're going to take it here over something like another Suplex, even though the Suplex is really a strong removal spell. Even as I say that, I'm kind of talking myself out of it. Yeah, we're going to take the Freya Crescent here. Also over Delivery Moogle, I will note this card is really good. It's really good. But we have a lot of 4s that I like. I don't want to have too many. So we're going to take the Freya Crescent here, and hopefully that will help our early part of our game. Moving on into our 3rd pick, we're very excited to see a Giat, King of the Dwarves. I feel like if there's a signpost uncommon, you kind of have to take it. So we're going to take a Giat here. I do think we're in a good lane in the equipment beatdown. I think this card is super solid. Will allow us to filter our draws, and then also putting anything onto it's going to feel pretty solid. Other considerations, White Mage's Staff is good. We're passing a lot of suplexes. I know this card is fantastic, but I really want to try out the Giat here. All right, moving on into our next pack. So we don't have any top-end creatures that I love for more than 5 mana, so we could take a Relentless XATM 092 as a good top-end creature that is just hard to block. Also, if you give this double strike with the Sefer Almasi, our first pick, like how are you blocking that effectively? So I think that's probably our pick. I don't really want another item shop keep. And Call Mountain Chocobo, while good, is a little bit just out of what we're trying to do here. I'm going to take the ATM, although I don't know that that's going to make its way into our final deck. Moving on into this next pack, I do think now we'll take a Slash of Light as a really good removal spell. I anticipate we're going to have a lot of creatures on the battlefield, so very excited to pick that up. Hopping into our 6th selection here, so we could take an Opera Love Song as a good kind of draw spell. Could also take a Weapons Vendor. I do think that's nice if we have a bunch of equipment. And then we could also take a Phoenix down, which I actually don't like. I don't like as much. So I think it's between either the Opera Love Song, the Haste Magic, or the Weapons Vendor. I'm going to take the Love Song. Helps us draw some cards, potentially buff a couple of our creatures here. Moving on into our 7th selection. I guess we take a Galacat. It is drying up a little bit for us here, but I think we've got more than enough playable cards that we're not super, super worried about it at the moment. Moving on into our 8th pick, we'll take, I mean, maybe it's another Galacat. No, it's probably another Slash of Light. I think we have enough creatures and things to do. Hopping to this 9th pick, nobody wants the Barrett Wallace, or I feel like we've seen a lot of Final Days as well. I do think this card is good, just not for what we are trying to do in this deck. Here we'll take a Lunatic Pandora. It's probably not making its way into our deck. It's just a little bit too slow. And wow, a Suplex Wheels and a You're Not Alone is also good. We're taking the Suplex. It's just a premium removal spell. And now taking another White Mage's Staff feels fantastic. So our 2s are going. I think we're going to have a really nice curve out. And hopefully this deck can get it done. I think it looks really strong. Good standard magic curve happens when I'm not doing crazy challenges. And hopefully we can get some wins here today. Here we'll actually take a Magitech Armor. I think this card's good. It's probably not making its way into our deck, but I think it's totally fine. And then we will finish our draft out with a Plains. Okay, so here is the deck we're rocking with today. It looks pretty good. It's got a really strong curve out. I cut 1 land. I'm keeping the Relentless XATM in there. That could be a mistake. I might take that out. But I think this looks really strong. We've got a really good creature curve with some equipment, some creatures, some good removal spells mixed in as well. So hopefully this is enough to get it done here. We'll go ahead and jump into it. All right, hopping into this first game, our opponent goes first. I do think if we draw a mountain, it's pretty good. And we've got a couple of draw steps to do it. So I think we're going to keep this. It's not fantastic, but Blazing Bomb is decent. But I think it can be strong if we draw a couple of mountains here. Red Mage's Rapier is decent. Uh-oh. I am seeing the 6-mana card and not a land. So maybe this was a mistake. We're going to play out the Dwarven Castle Guard, and then next turn we're going to draw a mountain, and everything's going to be totally fine. I do think we're probably fine trading with either of these creatures here, just to slow our opponent down as much as possible, and then we'll still have a 1/1 that's left over to block. Alright, we draw a Plains, which is not a mountain. So all we can do is play the Oron's Inspiration, which is not super strong. We're going to hold off on attacking, and we're a little bit stalled out here, but hopefully we can draw a mountain. Looks like our opponent might be wanting to draw Plains, and we're wanting to draw mountains. We draw it! That's huge. So I do think now we probably just play the Almasi. And then we attack, giving our Castle Guard a double strike. So trying to get in for some damage here. Looks like they do have a removal spell for our Almas here. At least they're looking for it there. Maybe they don't. Whenever Receiver does combat damage to a player, you may cast a target instant spell with value 3 less from your graveyard without paying its mana cost. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to attack with the Almasi here. We'll see how they block, but we might potentially... Never mind, I was going to say we might play the Oron's Inspiration so that we could play it again after this from our graveyard. So we are just going to take out their 1/1 token. And then I do think now we'll probably just play out our Galagat. Just use our mana as efficiently as possible. We might also just play out the Giat, King of the Dwarves. I can see like why that might be good as well. We can discard and then potentially draw into some equipment. I think we'll probably just play the Galagat here. Worst case, it's a 1/3 with Vigilance. Can turn into a 3/3 with Vigilance if we have a couple of artifacts out there. I might value this card too high. This card might not be as good as I originally thought it was. Just because having 2 different artifacts can be kind of challenging. But a 3/3 with Vigilance sounds good. Alright, so I think our opponent got stuck on land. We do take the first game, which is huge. We'll jump into the next one here. Alright, jumping into this next game, we get to go first, and I like this opening hand. Only 1 creature, but hopefully can help us dig for some other equipments and creatures. Also, this with Haste Magic on it is kind of crazy. So I do think now we will just play out our Giat. And then I think we'll probably discard one of our Slashes of Light to try and draw another card. Drawing Lightning Army of 1 is pretty crazy. So next turn, I think we'll probably attack with a Giat. And then we might try, if we don't get a land... Oh, wow, we just draw a land too. That is kind of insane. First Strike, Trample, and Lifelink is so good. I think we have to try and cast the Lightning after combat. I'm also tempted to just play the Haste Magic here and do 8 points of damage. But then we would be kind of limited with what we can do after this. And I think holding this up will be okay. So we're going to try to play our Lightning Army of 1 here. Hopefully it doesn't get countered. But I think the hesitation means it probably is. Or maybe just killed. Okay, so they are going to Thunder Magic it, unfortunately, there. But we still have some good stuff up. Shantoto is quite strong. So I do think now we're interested in just attacking. If they block, I do think we're going to Haste Magic and take out their Shantoto, and then we do draw a card as well, a land as well, so we can play that, and now we can leave up a Suplex. So nothing too crazy, but a lot of removal spells in hand, although I will say our Slash of Light is looking a little bit limited here. And we're going to keep attacking with our 1/1 with Double Strike. And we'll just keep up our Suplexes and our Fate of the Suncrest, and hopefully next turn we can draw a land and play our Zidane and maybe take over whatever creature they might play here. Swamp Cycling a Marlborough is fine with us. Kutrub for Rayer is not great. I assume they're just going to exile some cards out of our graveyard. I don't think we had any way to bring those back anyways. I do think now, just to use our mana as efficiently as possible, we should consider suplexing it. But also, if we can take it, that's going to feel kind of incredible. So let's draw an untapped land. Okay, we don't, which is unfortunate. We do get an Oron's Inspiration, though, which is at least interesting. So I think now we will start by attacking. If they block, we are going to to cast our Oron's Inspiration. We could also just cast our Slash of Light if we want to keep that available to ourselves. Because if they use a removal spell, it's going to feel pretty bad that we just lose that. But I guess we get some value in the flashback. Yeah, let's do it. If they use a removal spell here, it doesn't feel fantastic. But also, like, Slash of Light would have been bad there as well. Yeah. Yeah, that's tough. And then hopefully we can go untap land and play our Zidane. But I will say we've got removal spells. We can deal with some things here, so we're not totally out of this quite yet. We don't go removal spell. We do get a Dragoon's Lance, which is pretty decent. I do think now we will suplex their creature. Just because if we continue to not draw lands, I want to be using our mana as efficiently as we can here. And I'm sure they're going to play more creatures that we can try and take with the Zidane that are better than that one, like Xenos. So we don't draw the land here, which is unfortunate. I may be regretting not playing 17 and playing 16 instead. So, man, that'd be a crazy target for the Zidane. I think we just attack here. And then we'll cast this from our graveyard and deal 4 points of damage to them. And then next turn, if they don't play much else, we can take their Xenos and try and get some kind of crazy lethal attack in if we draw a land. Corner by black mages is great, so they're going to turn that into an 8/8, which is quite good. And we're going to draw an untapped land, and everything's going to be totally fine. No! Oh, we get so punished. We get so punished. So I think we probably just suplex the Street Thief and then play out our Dwarven Castle Guard. I'm leaving up hope that we can steal their giant creature. I know I probably should have just killed it as well, but I really want to try this. I guess now if they cast a non-creature spell, we just lose. Yeah, that was probably dumb. That was probably dumb. But I really wanted to steal it. I wanted to take it. Yeah, so we go down here, unfortunately. I probably misplayed that, but it would have been so fun to steal that and then get that lifelink back. That was probably wrong. Probably wrong. So we go down in the second game. Not great. Not the best playing you've ever seen. But we'll look to bounce back here. All right, hopping into this next game. We are going to keep this. I do think Giat on 2 is pretty strong. We'll probably put back a land to start here, because I want to keep the Slash of Light and also the Oron's Inspiration. So we're going to put back I guess we'll put back a mountain so we can cast this from our graveyard. Zidane is a fun draw, although we do maybe want some more lands now, but I think we're okay. They have a White Mage's Staff, which is decently good. I do think now we'll play out our Plains and then just play out a Samurai's Katana. And then I don't know that we want to discard, as crazy as that sounds, because I want that land to eventually play the Zidane, and I want to cast Oron's Inspiration twice, and I don't want them to know that we have it before we cast it. So I'm actually going to decline, and we're just going to attack with the creature on the right here. And then next turn we can play Oron's Inspiration as an instant, so hopefully we can catch them off guard, kill something with the Giat, and then the Samurai's Katana hero will also be pretty strong. Here I think we are more than fine taking 2. I assume they're going to have a follow-up play here. They don't want to just take 1,000,000 points of damage from us. Summon GF Ifrit is decently good. So now we know that we're going to get to Zidane something next turn because we drew the next land. So I think this looks like us just attacking. I don't really feel the need to remove that creature. And then playing Oron's Inspiration. If they trade with us, they're still taking a bunch of damage from the Giat. They're taking 6. So it's either that or we just kill the GF Ifrits. We still get the trample, so that's why I'm not worried about it. It would trade. Our board state wouldn't be as good as it currently is. So maybe it is just playing the Slash of Light on it, and they're still taking 5. And then next turn we can play the Zidane and take something good of theirs. Turn after we can play Oron's Inspiration. Here they are going to keep attacking us, which is interesting. I don't know that I would have done that if I were them, but they probably have a removal spell here. Weapons Vendor is good. But we're going to be able to absolutely whack them now. And then also get some life back. And then turn after, we can go Rescue Mission. Turn after, we can play Oron's Inspiration. So things are looking decent. Looking decent for sure. If we go untap lane, we can also do both, which feels pretty good. We also get Oron's Inspiration twice, depending on how they block, if we draw an untap land. Looks like they're deciding what they need to remove here. They played an Ishgard, the Holy Sea. I'm surprised they wouldn't return the enchantment to their hand. I guess that makes some sense. So I do think now we'll just start by attacking everywhere. I assume they're going to play a removal spell. And then we'll probably just play the Oron's Inspiration followed by the White Mage's Staff. So we're going to go for it here. We're going to try giving all of our creatures +2/+0. And now this kind of forces them to have to remove one of these 2 creatures. And then not trade with this one, which is nice. Or they could go double removal spell, which would also be pretty good. Thunder Magic is decently good, but now we get to eat their creature, still do 5 points of damage, and then I'll just play out our White Mage's Staff. I don't want to discard our Rescue Mission, so we're going to decline that as well. Minwu White Mage is pretty strong. So they are going to attack us, get some life back that way. I think we're fine taking 3 here. And then we can just tap it down, which is really nice. So we can tap up to 3 creatures. We'll tap these 2. We'll put a stun on the Minwu, and then we will just attack everywhere. And we get there again. All right, we bounce back after that last probably misplay, and we are now 2-1 on the day. All right, moving on into this next one. Our opponent goes first. They kept a hand of 7 cards. I think we keep this. I think Dragoon's lands on 2 is pretty strong. So we're going to rock with that, and then we'll play a Castle Guard, and then a Barrett Wallace, probably. If I wanted something to get countered, it probably would be the Dwarven Castle Guard over the Dragoon's Lance. So I might actually lead with that. Just because every time somebody's playing blue-red, playing Izzet, I'm like, you know what? They probably have a counterspell. They didn't, which is fine. We still have a decent creature out there now. And we know if they had a counterspell, they probably would have cast it, because I typically think on 2 you're countering anything. So now we know for a fact we can go Lance into Barrett Wallace into Zidane. So decent little curve out here on our side. All right, so our opponent just passed the turn, which is interesting. I think we'll start by attacking, and then we'll just play out our Dragoon's Lance here. All right, so it looks like our opponent is not there. So we're going to attack. We're going to play our Barrett Wallace. We're continuing to curve out. We probably won't be able to steal a creature with our Zidane, but I think that is okay. I think that's fine. I think they are not playing the game. They're back! Out of nowhere, they play an island. And a Thief's Knife here, which is interesting. I do think we'll steal that. We will steal their hero. We will attack everywhere. We've got him down to 2. And we draw a card with the Thief's Knife, obviously. It's going to be a little too late for our opponent, but hey, we take a free win whenever we can get them. We're also going to just tap down their entire board here with the taking 59 flights of stairs mode of this card. And we get there here as well. We are now 3-1 on the day. All right, hopping into this next one. Our opponent goes first, but I do like the start we have here. We can start with the G-Yacht. We can start to filter our draws a little bit with a White Mage's Staff and either get lands or put back some lands, depending on what we draw here early. Opponent has to go down to 5, which is tough. They do play Crystal Fragments on 1, which is somewhat decent. So I think we might lean towards the let's play aggressively here. I do think now putting out the G-Yacht makes a good amount of sense just in terms of trying to do damage to our opponent next turn. I think now we will... Do I dare decline? It might also just be putting back our Zidane, but I think our Zidane is going to be decent here. Maybe it's our Slash of Light. Or maybe it just is the Haste Magic. But I think that can be really good on our next turn defensively. I've decided. I think it's the rescue mission. And nice. Lightning is a great draw. So even if they equip next turn, we can try and block with the lightning. Alright, I like that decision we made. So looks like our opponent is also going for the Boros equipment beatdowns here. They're going to have a 4-3 on their hands, excuse me. So I think we're fine taking this 4. You know, it doesn't feel great, but hopefully our lightning will be able to block it next turn. And our defenses will be up a little bit there. And then we do just have a ton of action in our hand as well. So can't really complain. I don't think we're attacking here because I do want to try and block the Dwarven Castle Guide. Samurai's Katana is pretty good, although I do think our 3-2 first striker is decent here. So even if they attack, we still get to kill it with our first strike abilities here, which I'm not sure our opponent saw. We also get some life back, which is nice. And they are going to equip their 4-4 now. Alright, so I think we probably just start by attacking. And if we need to haste magic here, then we can. We can go hopefully get our 4th land and then play out like a White Mage's Staff or a Dragoon's Lance. Or even a suplex would be okay. So I am going to go for the haste magic here. So our creature does have first strike, which is nice. We don't quite get that other land, but we do take out their hero in the process. And then we are going to do some damage as well. Now it'll be 2 points of damage. And then next turn, our suplex is still decent. They've got a summon GF Ifrit, which is okay, although it's not fantastic. They are going to equip it here. The Crystal Fragments to the Dwarven Castle Guard. So 2 3-2s across the table from us. I do think now we probably want to just suplex and Slash of Light. I just think that feels so strong. So we'll take out the Ifrit. We'll Slash of Light the Castle Guard. And then they just have a 1-1, so we can still attack. I think that feels pretty good. Yeah. I mean, it's just tough for them to recover there if we do that. And we continue the hot streak. We're now 4-1 on the day. All right, moving on into this next one. Our opponent goes first. Our hand is kind of bizarrely slow, but I think when we have a lightning in our hand, we kind of have to go for it. Gaelic Cat also is probably not the strongest in a hand like this. Slash of Light also is like, we have no creatures, and this needs creatures and equipment. So we're not going to draw anything good to start here, which is a little bit tough. But looks like our opponent is also not playing a super aggressive deck. A Mysidian Elder is fine by us. And then I think we will just play out our Lightning Army of 1 here. It can attack decently well into this board. And then next turn we'll probably just play our Gaelic Cat. Hopefully we'll stop drawing lands. We'll draw some more kind of cheap action. So our slashes of lights can be better. That is a weird attack. And I think it means they have haste magic. If I had to guess, it would get their creature to 4 toughness and would kill ours. So I think that's what they had. Red Mage's Rapier is fine. Just a 1/1 as of now. Alright, so we draw a Giat, which is interesting. It's interesting. I think we probably start by attacking. And then if they haste magic here to try and kill our lightning army of 1. Coral Sword is interesting. So I think now we will Slash of Light the hero token. We are going to take a point of damage, but we'll get some life back. And then we'll still play out our Giat. So I think we did that correctly there. I think that's why we wanted to attack first, just in case there was anything weird like that. And then here we'll discard a mountain for sure. Try to draw some more action. So Freya Crescent is interesting. We can now go Gaelic Cat into Freya Crescent next turn, and then our slashes of lights will be a little bit stronger. Alright, so they do have a Sephiroth's Intervention for our Lightning Army of 1, unfortunately. But we still can play a couple of creatures next turn. We do draw another land, which is fine. Like, it's not the end of the world. I do think we'll attack. Didn't think there was going to be any crazy shenanigans there. And here we'll just play out our Freya Crescent as well. And then any equipments we draw are going to be really good. Any of our kind of top-end curves. That card is great. Kuja Genome Sorcerer. So that card is fantastic. I think it kind of demands removal. So we're just going to get rid of it. And then we'll attack with our 2 flyers. That was cool. They got to immediately transform it too because they had 4 wizards counting itself. So glad we got rid of that. We still have a removal spell that's a little bit limited. But Fate of the Sun Crystal was a fantastic draw. I cannot complain too much about that. Here I think we're fine just taking 2. Warrior Sword is pretty solid. I'll need to monitor our life total a little bit better. Sefer Almasi is really interesting. So we can play that for 4. And then I do think we're actually going to Slash of Light the token here. So that next turn we can attack with this, try and attack with this, and then we can cash the Slash of Light for free. And here we'll just attack with our 1/3 with Vigilance and a Double Strike. Get our opponent's life total down a little bit. Opera Love Song is decent. Is it your next instep? It is. So, Unexpected Request is really good. So they can take our C for Almasi, and we might have to just like chump block with the Freya Crescent, which I don't love. We'll also take 2 points of damage from the wizard tokens. So yeah, I think we just have to chump block with the Freya Crescent here. Doesn't feel great, but it's also not the end of the world. They're casually attacking with a 6/6. That is ours. They stole it from us. So yeah, we will just chump block here. Ahriman is decently good. And they are going to equip it here. So I think now we will just attack with the Almasi here. And then we'll just play out our Dragoon's Lance. And then I actually am going to equip this to the Giat. Is it flying during our turn? During your turn it has flying. So maybe we should just do it to the Galacat so we can trade with the Ahriman. Maybe that makes more sense. Yeah, let's do that. I think we're okay if we end up trading with the Ahriman here. Item Shopkeep is good. So now the Ahriman's kind of a problem. So it's a 6/4 with Menace. Yikes. Yikes. So I think we're just dead. Oh, I guess we can put this here. Here, let me make sure I do this right. So we tap 4 to equip this here. We attack with the Almasi. And then we can cast the Slash of Light on the Ahriman. Okay, glad I saw that line. I almost didn't. Do we get to do this again? Oh my gosh, we do. I think we take out one of the wizards, as crazy as that sounds. I'm not super afraid of the item Shopkeep, and I'm a little afraid of them double spelling and just killing us that way with the 2 wizards. So I'm going to equip the item Shopkeep here, I think with just everything they've got. Monk's Fist does not get it done. So we are going to double block here. Doesn't have trample. It's just a 5/2 with Menace. And I believe we get it done. This is huge! We almost sold that, but we did it, and we get the victory here. That is awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome how that worked out. Okay, jumping into this next one, we have a weird mix of very expensive cards and not a lot of cheap creatures. I will say, though, we can play a Suplex on 2 to get rid of something. Rescue Mission's pretty good on 4, and then eventually the Relentless ATM is okay. I don't really think we want to go down to 6. Like, if we draw a 2 or a 3 drop in any of our first 3 draw steps, really 2 draw steps, it's pretty good. We can probably do better. It's right on the line. What would you do? Would you keep this? Would you put it back? I'm going to keep it. We're going to try it. And hopefully it works out for us here. All right, so I'm going to start by playing out a mountain. So drawing lands isn't the worst thing in the world, because now we know we can play our Aerith Rescue Mission. We're probably just suplexing whatever they play next turn, just to use our mana as efficiently as possible. Monk's Fist, that feels especially bad, though. So maybe we're not. It is a sorcery, which is a bummer. I think we're supposed to. I think we have the lane for what we're playing on our 4th, our 5th, and our 6th turn. So I think we are just going to get rid of it here. Feels aggressive, but I also think that we want to just be using our mana as efficiently as we possibly can every turn. Princess of Dalmasca is pretty good. We're just going to play out our Aerith rescue mission and create some 1/1 tokens. When this attacks, they can look at the top 5, put an artifact card from among them into their hand. So it is pretty good. We can steal it next turn, though, with the Zidane, which I think will actually feel pretty nuts. And then it's going to be good in our deck as well, looking for that equipment card. Samurai's Katana is good. I also think the life gain here is going to really matter if we're racing our opponents here, which it looks like we will be. They found a White Mage's Staff, which is good. I think we're fine just taking this for now. I say fine. It's not great, but it is okay. Furry Crescent is pretty solid as well. So now I do think we'll just play the Zidane, targeting the Princess of Dalmasca, and then we will attack everywhere. Oh, and we brick! We whiff! There are no artifacts to be had. I will say, though, those top 5 cards did not look great. Looked like a lot of lands, which would not have been great for us here. We get some life back. They'll get to do the thing again with the Ash, which doesn't feel great, but then we'll get to play our Relentless XATM 092, which I'm told is a magic card. We also could play our Light of Judgment and get rid of the Katana and the hero it's attached to. I do think now we will attempt to block the Princess of Dalmasca. Getting a Magitech infantry also there is kind of rude. Just because we didn't hit anything, but that's okay. I do think we're going to take it out here. If they have a trick, they have a trick. So be it. Yeah, looks like they do. Coral Sword. And for the second game in a row, this card's kind of gotten us. Looks to be pretty good here. And they're going to play a couple of good cards here. Gila Cat is good as well. So I do think now we play the ATM and we hope that our opponent overextends next turn. And hopefully we can try and kill them on the crackback. It's not great, but then next turn we can play the Oron's Inspiration, which I think will feel decent. But we do have our back up against the wall a little bit here. Yeah, Suplex is good. Yeah, we're pretty dead. I think now we'll probably take out the Ash. We'll probably double block that way. They are just ripping equipment. Oh, Coral Sword is so good. So good. I think that's enough for me to concede. Because they can just give it first strike. They'll take out our entire board. Yeah. There's no way we come back from this. I mean, even if we block, our things die. Yeah, we just lose. Oh, so we go down in this one, unfortunately. And we will look to bounce back in the next one. All right, hopping into this next one, we go first. It is really slow. We've got 2 removal spells and a 5-drop. The removal spells are decent, though. I might be wishful thinking too much with these draws. Maybe I should just mulligan this. I kind of like the removal spells, though. I'm keeping it. I'm keeping it. We're risking it. We're risking it. I like having 7 cards in my opening hand. Maybe too much. But I like the Suplex. I like the Fate of the Suncrist. We're going to try and figure this out. Slash of Light is so bad. So bad. Maybe we need to relook at this card in our deck. Because I feel like we have been not having the amount of creatures required for that. Lightning Army of One is right on time. Obviously, we kept this hand with a 3-drop in it. So here I do think we'll start by attacking. I assume they have a removal spell here. Yeah, that's a bummer. Yep. 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 So eventually we can get rid of it with the Fate of the Suncrist if we really want to. But until then, that's just good. That's just really, really good. Bard's Bow is decent. So we don't draw the land for the removal spell or for the Zidane here to really take over. I think now we'll probably just make a bunch of 1/1s. Makes our Oron's Inspiration a little bit better next turn. And then eventually if we do play our Zidane, I think it's nice to be able to kind of free up our attackers in the 1/1s here. Chocobo Racetrack is pretty fun. So I think now we will... I think we want to suplex and then Oron's Inspiration. We'll be doing 6 that way. And then the turn after, we can still steal whatever they put out there. So I think that makes the most sense for us. And then we will just attack everywhere with our Oron's Inspiration. Finally getting to see that card do some work here. It's 9 damage. I think I misspoke there. And then next time we can still play the Zidane, which is decent, or we can just play the Oron's Inspiration again, which is pretty good. If we go on tap lane, we can go Slash of Light into Oron's Inspiration. They are going to start making some birds. Gubu Gardener is decent enough. So I think now... I think we're probably supposed to play the Zidane and steal their Chocobo. So I'm actually going to do something kind of weird here. I'm going to play the Gallicat. And we're going to keep up the Slash of Light here and actually not attack. I just think having that as a flyer is going to be good for our Oron's Inspiration next turn. And then we still can get rid of something here. That is an artifact, which we could have taken away with the suplex. But I think we're okay. We'll see what our opponent does here. Town Greeter is decent. They're going to play another land and make another Chocobo, which is good. They are matching our army of tokens with an army of Chocobos. I think we probably are supposed to get rid of one. So I'm going to go for it here. And now we could Slash of Light again. But I think we're supposed to play our Zidane. Take their 2/2. Bane's Treachery is really good there. So we don't really have good attacks now. So it's pretty solid for our opponent to take out our Gallicat there. And they're still going to make another 2/2 here. I'm not loving this. But eventually they've got to run out of some steam here. They're going to make another 2/2. And I will say too, like, we can play the Oron's Inspiration and trade up and attack everywhere and try to trade with all their stuff. I think that feels okay. Another rescue mission is pretty funny. We also can get rid of the Stuck in Summoner's Sanctum as well. We also could tap down some of their creatures and put a stun counter on one. I think we're probably just supposed to attack with the Zidane and then make more 1/1 tokens. So I'm going to do that here. If they want to trade with us, that's fine. I think us just thinning out the board as much as we possibly can, and then just going super wide with heroes is going to bode well for us with the Oron's Inspiration. So they're going to continue making 2/2s, which is good, but hopefully they're going to run out of action here. So I do think now it is warranted to play the Slash of Light, targeting the 4/4. And then we will just attack everywhere with our army of 3/1s. And we've still got some left over. I mean, we've got an okay board state here. We can play the Fate of the Suncrist next turn. But they definitely, the Chocobo Racetrack has done some serious work. They've got to have something here. Fight On is pretty dang strong. Yeah, we're probably going to get got here. Probably going to get got here. So, yeah, Diamond Weapon is really good. We can get it with the Fate of the Suncrist, but even then, that doesn't feel great. I think we're just dead here. I mean, we'll play it out. There's a chance we can try and sneak a win here, but I'm not feeling great about it. We are not going to be blocking. And then I am going to get rid of their Diamond Weapon just so they can't draw a card with the Ahriman by paying 3 and sacrificing it in response to us doing that. It does not feel great right now. Barrett Wallace is not fantastic. It's a decent blocker. It's a 4/4. But we are in some trouble here for sure. Yeah, we probably should go down here. They just had a little bit too much value for us, unfortunately. We were close. We were really close. I think if we had played those turns a little bit differently, we might have had a chance here. We also might have just should have gotten rid of the Chocobo Racetrack with the suplex. I think that is kind of what killed us. We have another one. Good night. So that's like probably what did us in here. So here we're taking 10, we're taking 13. If we do it like this, we take 10. And then we potentially can top deck like a Haste Magic would get it done. Oh, I forgot about that card. We just lose. We just lose. Oh, that's so tough. I definitely should have just gotten rid of the Racetrack. I think we would have been able to certainly win if we did not use that removal spell as a removal spell. If we had just waited a little bit on that. So, you know, learning the set, learning how to get better. And we go down here today. We go 5-3. Let me know what you thought. Here's the final deck that goes down. I will say Lightning Army of One felt okay. Giat felt okay. I do think Sifra Amasi is really good. Well, we had a decent deck. I thought it was very fun. Orange Inspiration was definitely fun. 2 might have been 1 too many. But we go down here today. So based on my performance in today's draft, I'm going to be giving away a rare card set to one of you. All you have to do is like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment down below on how you think I did. I will be responding to one of you in the comments, so be sure to be on the lookout for that. I'll be sending you 3 cards out of my binder that are actually cool. They're actually good. It's not just bulk and crap. Thank y'all so much for watching. Until next time.